Ready to dive deep into a story that honestly feels like it's ripped straight from a legend. Today we're going all the way back to 19th century India
Oh, yeah.
to explore the just absolutely captivating life of Rani Lakshmibai.
The Warrior Queen of Jhansi.
Yes.
A fascinating figure, really is.
And her story, it's so much more than just historical record.
Yeah, it speaks to, I think, just the human spirit's resilience and that fight for freedom.
And what I think is so interesting about what we're doing today is that our source material is actually kind of unique for this deep dive.
Okay.
We're actually using an AI-generated YouTube podcast script about Rani Lakshmibai.
Oh, wow.
So it really shows how her story is still being retold and reinterpreted even today.
It is fascinating how technology is kind of helping us keep these stories alive and relevant for new audiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start by setting the stage.
Okay.
For those who might be unfamiliar with her story, Rani Lakshmibai wasn't actually born with that name.
Right.
She was born in 1828 as Manikarnika,
Wow.
nicknamed Manu. Oh, it's hard to even imagine this young girl growing up to become such a powerful and influential figure.
I know her childhood was anything but ordinary.
Right.
The script highlights her exceptional skills in horsemanship, swordsmanship, and combat training.
Wow.
Now remember, this wasn't exactly the norm for young women in that era.
Right, especially in her social standing.
Especially in that era. Yeah, we're already seeing the seeds of defiance being planted.
Totally.
It wasn't just her skills with a sword, but her inner strength that would make her a legend.
So how does this young woman with these impressive abilities become the Rani of Jhansi?
Well, she married Raja Gangadhar Rao, the ruler of Jhansi.
Okay.
This is where we see her stepping into a position of power, not just as a queen, but as someone who would later fight for her kingdom's survival.
But things weren't easy, were they? The British Empire was expanding its influence in India at that time.
Yeah, and this is where the doctrine of lapse comes in.
Okay.
A policy the British used to annex kingdoms if a ruler didn't have a male heir. When Raja Gangadhar Rao died, the British saw an opportunity to claim Jhansi.
So they didn't recognize the adopted son as the rightful heir.
Exactly. They attempted to annex Jhansi, but Rani Lakshmibai refused to surrender.
Wow.
She chose to fight for Jhansi's independence, directly challenging the most powerful empire at that time.
It's amazing.
Her courage is undeniable, but what were the stakes here? It wasn't just about territory.
You're right. It was about something far deeper.
Yeah.
The soul of Jhansi.
Mm-hmm.
She was fighting to preserve its independence, its very identity as a kingdom.
And her defiance set the stage for her to become a central figure in the 1857 Indian Rebellion.
Yeah.
This was a pivotal moment in India's struggle against British rule,
Huge.
often called the Sepoy Mutiny in British accounts.
That term, though, it doesn't really capture the complexity of what led to the uprising, does it?
It doesn't. From the Indian perspective, this was a fight for freedom from oppressive colonial rule.
And Rani Lakshmibai wasn't just defending Jhansi anymore. She became a key leader, rallying others to join the fight against the British.
Think about the social context, a woman leading armies, strategizing, fighting on the front lines.
Yeah.
This was practically unheard of.
Right.
She challenged so many prevailing assumptions about women's roles in society.
Yeah.
She was a warrior, a strategist, and a unifier all in one.
This brings us to some of the incredible feats of bravery mentioned in the script.
Yes.
There's one anecdote that I think really captures her spirit.
Okay.
So, Jhansi was under attack by British forces.
Uh-huh.
The situation was dire.
Right.
The script describes how Rani Lakshmibai, with her young son strapped to her back,
Wow.
charged into battle on horseback.
This image has become almost legendary. It speaks to her incredible courage and her unwavering commitment to protecting both her kingdom and her child.
I can only imagine the intensity of that moment.
I know.
Leading your people into battle with your child's life at stake,
Yay.
that's bravery to a whole other level.
Absolutely. This image of her became a symbol of defiance that resonated throughout India.
Wow.
She wasn't hiding. She was leading the charge, inspiring her people through her actions.
It wasn't just military strategy, though.
Right.
It was deeply personal for her.
Yeah.
She was fighting for her family, her home, her people's right to self-determination.
And her leadership wasn't just symbolic.
Yeah.
She was a skilled warrior and tactician. Her swordsmanship and horsemanship, honed from a young age, were essential to her survival and success on the battlefield. But sadly, as with all rebellions, there are setbacks.
Right.
Despite her valiant efforts, Jhansi ultimately fell to the British.
So what happened to Rani Lakshmibai? Did she just accept defeat?
Not a chance. Remember, this is a woman who defied expectations her entire life.
Right.
She escaped from Jhansi with her son and continued to fight for India's freedom.
Wow.
But her journey doesn't end there.
So we left off with Rani Lakshmibai making a pretty daring escape from Jhansi.
Yeah.
It's almost like something straight out of a movie,
I know.
the queen on the run, but still fighting for her nation's freedom.
It speaks to her unwavering determination.
Yeah.
She wasn't just fleeing, though.
Right.
According to our AI podcast script, she sought refuge in Kelpie, joining forces with other rebel leaders.
So she was building alliances, recognizing that this fight required a united front.
Exactly. The fall of Jhansi didn't break her spirit.
Wow.
Instead, she used it as an opportunity to rally others to her cause.
Really?
It's a testament to her leadership that even in defeat, she could inspire others to keep fighting.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is.
Her story really challenges those historical narratives that often focus solely on male leaders during rebellions.
Right.
Rani Lakshmibai was right there in the thick of it, shaping events.
And her journey didn't end in Kelpie.
Right.
She eventually moved on to Gwalior,
Okay.
a strategically vital kingdom.
Yeah.
I'm curious, do you remember why Gwalior was so important?
Well, from what I recall, Warrior was known for its strong fort and its potential to become a major center of the rebellion.
That's right. It was seen as a stronghold that could seriously challenge British control in central India.
Wow.
Taking Gwalior wouldn't just be a military victory, it would be a huge symbolic win for the rebellion.
It makes you wonder what was going through her mind at that time.
Yeah.
Did she believe that Gwalior could be the turning point in the rebellion?
It's certainly possible, while our script doesn't delve into her specific motivations.
Okay.
It's clear that she was a strategic thinker.
Yeah.
Gwalior represented an opportunity, a chance to shift the balance of power.
And this leads us to Kota Ki Sarai,
Yes.
the place where Rani Lakshmibai made her final stand against the British.
A name that echoes with the weight of history.
It does.
This is where the script truly emphasizes the tragic heroism of her story.
Yeah.
She faced impossible odds, outnumbered and outgunned by British forces.
But knowing everything we've learned about her so far,
Right.
I can't imagine her backing down, even in the face of such overwhelming force.
You're absolutely right. The script describes her leading her troops with incredible courage, fighting valiantly until the very end.
It must have been an incredible sight.
Oh, yeah.
The queen on the battlefield defying the might of the British Empire.
While the script doesn't go into specific details about her final battle,
Okay.
it paints a vivid picture of her unwavering determination, her refusal to surrender even when facing impossible odds.
It's a scene that has been immortalized in countless paintings and poems.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to see why her story has resonated for so long.
I know.
It speaks to that human desire for freedom,
Right.
for resistance against oppression.
It's a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming power,
Yeah.
courage can shine through.
Sadly, though, her story ends in tragedy.
It does.
She was killed in action at Kota Ki Sarai.
Yes, but her death wasn't the end of her influence. In
Right.
many ways, it was just the beginning.
It's almost like her death transformed her into a martyr,
Uh-huh.
a symbol of resistance that inspired generations to come.
Exactly. This wasn't just a military defeat, it was the birth of a legend.
Wow.
Her sacrifice became a rallying cry for those who yearned for an India free from British rule.
And it's important to remember that her legacy extends far beyond the battlefield.
Yes.
Even today, she's remembered as a powerful symbol of female empowerment.
Absolutely. In a time when women were often confined to domestic roles.
Right.
She was leading armies, challenging an empire. It's hard to overstate how groundbreaking that was.
It makes you think about how history is often told from a singular perspective.
Yeah.
But Rani Lakshmibai's story reminds us that there are always multiple sides, multiple perspectives to consider.
You're right. Her story is a powerful reminder that history is not just about dates and battles.
Yeah.
It's about the individuals who shape those events, their motivations, their struggles, and their triumphs.
And it's about how those stories continue to resonate even centuries later.
For sure.
So what happens next?
Well,
How does Rani Lakshmibai's story continue to unfold? Not just in history books, but in the hearts and minds of people.
that's exactly what we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive. We'll delve into the enduring legacy of Rani Lakshmibai and how her story continues to inspire and empower people even today.
Stay tuned. This journey through history isn't over yet.
No.
We've got more to uncover, more to learn from the incredible life of Rani Lakshmibai. It's really incredible when you think about it. We've journeyed through Rani Lakshmibai's life,
It's amazing.
from her really kind of unconventional childhood to her final battle at Kotaki Serai.
Yeah.
But I think what is so striking is how her story continues to resonate centuries later.
Her legacy is truly remarkable. It
Yeah.
goes beyond the history books and textbooks.
Right.
It lives on in the hearts and minds of people.
It makes you wonder, how exactly is she remembered today? What are the aspects of her story that continue to inspire and empower people?
I think one thing that stands out is her portrayal in popular culture. I mean, she's been the subject of countless books, poems, songs, even films.
Oh, yeah. Bollywood, I mean, of course, Bollywood couldn't resist a story like this.
Right.
And those films, while often dramatized,
Of course.
have introduced her story to a whole new audience.
Yeah.
It's amazing how these different interpretations keep her story alive.
It's interesting, though, because we have these grand, almost mythical portrayals of her bravery.
Right.
But there's also this very personal human side to her story that often gets overlooked.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, she wasn't just this larger-than-life figure.
Sure.
She was a woman who faced real challenges, who made difficult choices, who experienced both triumphs and losses, right?
Well,
She was a skilled warrior, a
yeah.
loving mother, and a leader who inspired her people.
Yeah.
And, in her final moments, she faced death with incredible courage.
It's that blend of strength and vulnerability, I think, that makes her so compelling.
Yeah.
She wasn't just a queen or a warrior. She was a human being facing these extraordinary circumstances.
Exactly, and I think that's why she resonates with people from all walks of life. Her story taps into that human need to control our own fate.
Right.
It's about resisting those who try to dictate our lives.
And also her story carries such a powerful message about female empowerment.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, in a time when women were often relegated to the domestic sphere, she was leading armies, challenging an empire.
Yeah.
It's hard to overstate how groundbreaking that was.
She shattered stereotypes and became a symbol for generations of women who dared to dream bigger, to push beyond the limitations placed upon them.
So if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, I mean, there's a wealth of information out there.
Oh, yeah.
But here's a challenge I want to leave you with.
Okay.
Go beyond the battles and the dates.
Uh-huh.
Try to really understand the woman behind the legend.
Yeah.
What drove her?
Yeah.
What were her doubts and fears? That's where the real story lies.
Beautifully said. It's in those details that we truly connect with her humanity, with her struggles and triumphs.
Rani Lakshmibai's story, I think, is a powerful reminder that history is not just about events. It's about the people who shape those events.
Yeah.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I think what stays with me is her unwavering spirit,
Yeah.
her refusal to give up,
Yeah.
even when the odds were stacked against her.
Right.
And I think that's a really powerful message for all of us,
It is.
reminding us that we too can face challenges with courage and determination.
She reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming power, one person's actions can make a difference.
Wow.
And that the fight for what we believe in, whether it's freedom, justice, or simply the right to live a life true to ourselves, is a fight worth fighting.
And on that inspiring note, we conclude our deep dive into the extraordinary life of Rani Lakshmibai, the Warrior Queen of Jhansi.
We hope her story has sparked your curiosity and ignited your imagination.
Remember, history is full of stories like hers.
Oh, yeah.
Stories of courage, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. So keep exploring, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of one voice to change the world.